Welcome to Hour 2 of the Midwest #1 weekly motorsports show, Track Talk, on the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet. Once again, here's Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Track Talk. All right. Oh, you see that right there? What is that, Kirk?
I don't know what you're doing.
Oh.
You act like you're swimming.
No,
I don't know what
that's me loosening up after hour number 1.
Oh.
Because that's kind of what, that's the format of hour number 2. It's like, oh, the pressure's all gone.
It is?
All gone. Talking to all those thousands of people all over the Midwest. Now we're just
You feel pressure?
After 14 years.
You're not the nervous kind.
Not really.
Come on.
But I will tell you that I enjoy this far more than hour number 1. And you know why, right?
Because we don't have to meet any commercial breaks.
We don't have to meet any commercial
breaks. We do have a commercial.
We don't have to answer to anybody. It's our show, and we do it the way we want to do it. It doesn't have to be all NASCAR. It doesn't have to be anything but what we want it to be. If we want to sit here and talk about highlighter pins all hour, we could do it.
Well, we do have one commercial to make, and thanks to McCarthy Chevrolet for sponsoring this hour, as they do the first hour on Sports Radio 810.
Yep.
And a brand new sponsor that began the year 2012, and very excited to have them aboard. And, of course, they've got a lot of great deals going on down at McCarthy Chevrolet in Olathe.
Right. $12,000 off any Silverado down there. $10,000 price guarantee. You know, it's funny. You've heard these kind of sales at other dealerships. Oh, that's because that's where Brian Schaefer worked. And now that he's over at McCarthy Chevrolet in Olathe on Rawhigh Road, just off of, what is it, Santa Fe and I-35. He's brought that all over there. So, again, check him out. Get out. Purchase a Silverado now. There's never been a better time. $12,000 off. Oh, and by the way, they guarantee that they'll beat anybody else's price, and if they can't do it, $10,000. Okay, or you can check them out at McCarthyChevyKC.com. McCarthyChevyKC.com. See, they have 2 addresses. McCarthyChevrolet.com, which you can go to, but they tell me the best place to really check out what's going on out at McCarthy is McCarthyChevyKC.com. All right? So check them out. And if you like something on there, find out a little bit of information about some of the cars. You know, Chevrolet is the longest-lasting pickup in America. You buy a Chevrolet, it's going to outlast any other truck on the market, folks. Don't you want to get your dollar's worth out of a truck if you're going to buy it? Why not buy a Chevrolet?
How about that Equinox you're driving right now that you've had from coast to coast for several years? Yep. That thing is going strong, too.
Still going good. Still going good. Nearly 180,000 miles on it. So all we got to do is just make it another year.
You just put a new set of tires on it. You're ready to go, right?
Ready to go. All right. Well, we've got an interesting show, I guess. If it's funny. You know, we'll have about 20 people on the chat room during Sports Radio 810 WHB. And the moment we go over to 810, it jumps up to about 40 or 50. So, hi, everybody. Clint Brown, how you doing? Racer X66, Matt, Harvey. What's going on? It's working, bud. Your test is working on the chat room. Let's start off with just listen. You know, we will talk about anything that you throw up on the chat room. That's one thing that we do here. This is an interaction show with the folks that really are hardcore Racing Boys supporters. And Clint Brown just brought up something. And we didn't mention it in hour number 1, but we'll talk about it here now. We should have mentioned it in hour number 1 because it was worthy of hour number 1. We just didn't get it in there. We had so much going on.
Oh, by the way, our phone line's open, 816-833-8553. Give us a call.
Okay. And you can put that phone number up on the screen.
I need to do that.
You need to do that. Yeah. That's probably something that needs to be done. Anyway, I was going to say that Clint had brought up about Lonnie Wheatley, and Racer X66 is wanting to know what? Lonnie Wheatley? Lonnie Wheatley has been the publicist guru of the website and just anything that's ASCS. If you read it, Lonnie Wheatley wrote it. And it's been that way I want to say about 8 or 9 years, maybe something like that. It's been that way. Lonnie Wheatley.
I thought he was around from the beginning.
No.
Seems like it.
I know it. Well, we love his work, and I talked to Lonnie quite a bit because I've traveled with Lonnie and became, I like to think, pretty good friends with Lonnie Wheatley, traveling up and down the road. He's kind of different breed of cat. A lot of people really don't know how to take Lonnie sometimes, but I find Lonnie to be a cool dude, man. I like him a lot.
I think he's a great guy.
Great guy, and a friend. Well, the word came down, and I've known this for some time now, but it hadn't became official until just here recently, that Lonnie Wheatley has decided to leave the Lucas Oil ASCS Sprint Car Dirt Series and ASCS altogether as the publicist for all 10 regions and the National Tour, as well as the Sprint Bandits and the Chili Bowl. I mean, anything that you read about any of that stuff, that was Lonnie Wheatley.
Yeah, we've come to depend on his work for so many years now. How are we going to move forward without Lonnie Wheatley?
Lonnie Wheatley has decided, okay, all right, Clint, it says it was 10 years. So I knew it was about 9 or somewhere in that area. 10 years. Lonnie Wheatley has decided to leave ASCS. Man, oh man. I have mixed emotions on this because Brian Hobart, who is the National Tour announcer, is going to be taking over those duties. And I love Brian. Man, everybody knows I'm a huge Brian Hobart fan. Just love that guy. And he's going to do a fine job. He's got major shoes to fill, though. And
that kid won't get any sleep now if he's got to pick up Lonnie's work.
He's got a lot on his plate down there. But I will tell you that Brian Hobart's got wide shoulders, and he is not afraid of work. And it's going to take a lot to bog that kid down. And he's going to be just fine. But my whole thing is that we just hate seeing Lonnie leave. We've gone through this growth spurt with ASCS in the last several years. And to see him leave and move on, and to be honest with you, Lonnie doesn't even know what he's going to be doing. I think Lonnie kind of, he missed Tommy Estes a little bit. I know that I never saw anything where he gets along with everybody at ASCS. I think he was just ready for a change. It was just time.
Then he saw this big, massive schedule coming, and
I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Maybe that had something to do with it.
You know what? I will tell you this, that I all but begged Lonnie to stay.
Of course,
some people might even call it begging.
Yeah.
I mean, Lonnie, don't leave, man. We need you. You need to be here. We're getting ready to get into the fruit of your hard work. I mean, we're getting to the point to where, we got 65 dates. We've got Lucas Oil. We've got everything that we've ever wanted now.
Of course, the massive schedule, the doubling of the schedule wouldn't have mattered because Lonnie still went out and covered ASCS regional races even when there wasn't any national.
I don't know of anybody that is more hardcore about going to sprint car races, even ASCS and non-ASCS events, than Lonnie Wheatley.
Yeah, even on an off weekend, he'd be out somewhere.
He'd go to some racetrack.
Sure.
Even if it wasn't an ASCS race, nobody loves sprint car racing more than Lonnie Wheatley.
Yeah, he'll be missed. There's just no question about that. I wish Brian the best. A great announcer. But
Brian's going to be fine.
I'm not sure Lonnie Wheatley can be replaced.
Well,
what he did.
No. I mean, sure he can be replaced. Anybody can be replaced. But I think what the thing is that we look at the way that Lonnie did things down there, and to duplicate what Lonnie has done is going to be difficult.
I can't tell you how much hard work that is to compile all those press releases and accounts of all these races and results. That is time-consuming work, and it is hard work.
I totally believe that Brian Hobart's going to do fine, though.
Yeah.
Because, see, I know that guy. I know how he's wired. He isn't going to give up. But it's going to call for a lot of late nights, as Clint Brown just said. He's not going to have to stay up till 5 in the morning waiting for the guys in the West Coast to send in their results. Here's what a lot of people don't realize what Lonnie did. A lot of people don't realize that Lonnie wrote all these regional stories. And so he had to wait for the announcer, whoever it was that he had designated as the person to give him the information from whatever ASCS regional race was going on. He would take that information and make it into a short little press release and then put the results. And he would have to wait up all night long until he got all that done. So many nights that he'd be up when the sun was coming up.
Well, I know this. When I update the racingboys.com site early in the morning, those releases were always there with
all the regions.
Of all the regions, national events, completely written, compiled, and sent out before daybreak, no matter what. So that he'd had to be up all night long doing that work.
Well, like Clint said, he'd like to know how many miles Lonnie has traveled. I talk about how many miles I traveled. Lonnie beats me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he was everywhere.
Because on an off weekend, when I come home, I'm not thinking about traveling, going to another race. I'm thinking about going to Lakeside or Valley or, at the time, CMS, some local track. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sleep in my own bed that night. And I think there was a stretch last year that Lonnie Wheatley was gone, I want to say 56, 58 days straight without coming home. I think the longest I'd ever done on the national tour is maybe 20-some, maybe. So he doubled that. Just think about that.
Well, here's a departure that affects my life, your life, and everybody, that follows what's going on with the ASCS and make sure that all the information is disseminated out on our website and whatever.
It only affects you, though, Kirk, if the job isn't done properly in the future.
We didn't have to worry about the job being...
Yeah, but I don't have to worry about it now. Again, I believe in Brian. I worry about how he's going to hold up over a course of 65 races because not even Lonnie did 65 races.
No. On
top of all the regional stuff.
Well, good luck to whatever he decides to do.
Whatever you do, Lonnie, let me just tell you, I'm going to miss you out there, my friend. And it's not going to be the same, but I will tell you this. I believe in Emmett Hahn and Fuzz and Matt and Donna and everybody down there in ASCS. You know what? They've had to deal with adversity. Everybody thought, doom and gloom when Tommy Estes left. And, yeah, I love Tommy as much as anybody, a good friend of mine. And I miss him out on the road as a friend. But Matt Ward has done a fantastic job in filling those shoes with the guidance of his mother and his grandfather and grandmother. We're going to be okay. So let's don't act like this is the end of the world when somebody leaves that's been with an organization like ASCS forever. Sure, it's a little tough when it comes to the personal side of it because of the friendships that we've gained with these people over the years. But with that all being said, we got to remember who's running the series, and that's Emmett Hahn. And I'm going to tell you, I'm all in, as they say in poker, when it comes to Emmett Hahn and him running this organization and the way that he has really pulled up his bootstraps here in the last year and met the challenge of owners to get more dates. And not only getting more dates, but doubling the amount of dates that we're going to have. And I know there's a few other dates that are going to be announced. And right now we're sitting at 65. So look for that to be somewhere between 65 and 68 national tour dates in 2012 this year. So hey man, it's all good. I'm saddened that he's gone, but at the same time, Kirk, I believe in the future of ASCS.
Well, Lonnie, if you're listening, good luck. Whatever you decide to do. Another shocking announcement came forth here in the last couple of days. Jason Myers, the two-time defending champion of the World of Outlaws, has announced his retirement. He's going to run 14 races beginning at Volusia Speedway Park here coming up in a couple of weeks and wind up at Calistoga in late March, and that's it for Jason Myers.
You really going to believe that, Kurt?
I don't know what to believe. When Mark Kinzer quit, he quit and devoted his time to his family. But Jason Myers, what is he, in his 30s still?
Mid-30s. I don't know what he is, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I got to believe that he'll be back at some point. But that he put a letter out on his website yesterday explaining why he's quitting. And, there was a lot of off-season things that were going on between he and his team. And he's still pretty passionate about the sport. You can tell that just by reading his letter. But he wants to spend more time with his family, his daughter in particular. But how long is a guy like this, who's still in his 30s, still in the prime of his career, still going to get the itch to put something together? Come back? I agree with you, Scott. I think at some point he'll come back.
It's too
but
good.
now he's doing this farewell tour of 14 races. That was his car number, and saying that's it. I guess we'll see about that. But it's certainly a guy at the top of his game, winning championships in the World of Outlaws. If nothing else, he's going out on top. But we'll see if this sticks.
Here's what I look to happen, Kurt, and I may be way off base. It might be just like Mark Kinzer. He might just be done, and that could happen. I mean, he's made a lot of money driving sprint cars, probably got a good salary for what he was doing. Well, the way I understand it is that, they were trying to make that team a two-car team with Stevie Smith. And I don't know if this to be fact or not, but was told that, that he was maybe not into taking care of two cars or the amount of work that it would take to do that. I don't know this for a fact, so I'm speculating here and just hearing rumors and stuff, so I'm not really for sure on that.
And adding a two-car team would take away from his performance?
Well, maybe not that. Maybe he didn't want to have to sit on top of two cars. Maybe he just wanted to concentrate on his own program and do what he does. And I will tell you, I've heard this, that Jason Myers has been really tired of the road for a couple years. I mean, just think about running with the World of Outlaws. And like ASCS this year. I mean, we're within 10 dates of the World of Outlaws this year with ASCS.
So you're out on the road all the time.
So I'll get a feel of what it's like to be out there for that length of time this year. So I know how I felt at the end of last year after 35 dates. So I'm sure I'm going to be pretty tired at the end of this year. And I can only imagine if you were a team owner, driver, with the demands of a Jason Myers like he has, what people expect of you as Jason Myers, and they expect you to win races. They expect you to run up towards the front and win championships, and running anywhere between 75 and 100 races a year has to be taxing on you mentally and physically. And I don't know how some of the guys do it, to be honest with you. And, I'm 51 years old. And I'm concerned a little bit about how it's going to affect me after a 65 race season.
Steve Kinzer's older than you, and he's out there doing it still.
You know what? Everybody's wired different. Not everybody's the same, Kurt.
A lot of these guys, I think Kinzer doesn't he have a situation where he can fly back home? Maybe after a race, he doesn't have to be out on the road constantly. I know some of these drivers get enough money. Of course, Steve Kinzer working for Tony Stewart, that they can get enough to where they can fly back and forth from home to wherever they're at. If they're out on a big tour out of the West Coast, that they can get back and forth, which kind of helps that. But when you're constantly out on the road, which most of these guys are, you're just living out on the road. That's quite a lifestyle.
Well, and that's why we bought the Racing Boys bus for this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be out there quite a bit this year.
It's almost a necessity when you're
really
doing that kind of a schedule.
Because you don't have time to stop and sleep in a motel room when you're doing back-to-back days.
The time it takes to go check into a motel and drive, at least with a motorhome, you've got everything right there, self-contained. You just go in and go to bed.
And it allows you to get a couple extra hours of sleep.
Right.
When you're going from one track to the next night after night.
Where you just pull it over whenever you get tired.
Just run it until you're tired. Just pull over and go to bed instead of getting your gear out and going in the room and checking in and winding down. You just drive till you're so tired you're ready to go to sleep. Just pull over and lay down.
It's a gypsy lifestyle.
Don't call me a gypsy.
I didn't call you a gypsy.
Well,
I said it's a gypsy lifestyle.
Well, it's kind of calling me a gypsy a little bit, right?
Well, good luck.
Anyway, hey, got a new guy listening from Des Moines. Freedom Left is on the chat room. Welcome. We appreciate you listening on the show. Obviously haven't been down here much lately, Freedom, because he's asking questions about racetracks like Urbana, Bethany, Pleasanton, Adrian.
All those tracks are closed right now.
On weekly, anyway. Urbana, I'm hearing that it's closing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shut down, the Dallas County Speedway.
I'm a little surprised by that.
Bethany still runs during the fair, but there have been attempts to get that open on occasion on a weekly basis, which didn't work, the last of which Jim Wilson tried to make that work.
Larry
up
Castor
there.
spent a lot of money up there trying to get that place turned around.
And, of course, Lynn County Speedway in Pleasanton's been closed for several years. Tim Schreckler tried to make a go of that.
I think it's
always had some issues with drawing enough fans and cars to make that work.
Adrian has been closed how many years now? 5, 6?
I don't know, 3 or 4 years, has it?
I mean, it's so far, yeah, and we hate that, too.
Owned
the
that
track is still there. Glenn's
Right.
still living down there as far as I know, but he sold all the grandstands and all the concession gear, so it's gone.
And now you add Central Missouri Speedway to the list of tracks that have shut down. It makes the bigger operations, and we talked about Lakeside Speedway in the last hour. I think a lot of people agree that that has been a very successful weekly operation for a long time until the flood hit last year and shut it down for the remainder of the year. But a lot of these racetracks that are remaining right now are going to get bigger in terms of crowds and car counts because of the less amount of tracks that we have out there. So the stronger will survive, as they say. The best managed racetracks are the ones that are going to survive.